I got a phone call that there was a fire in Little Wiley on the Forest Service property surrounded by private industry lands, that it was going to be a threat to my property that I manage. I got here on site just about at dark, tied in with the incident commander. He said it's on a rock face, very little access, we cannot get people in there. And we started looking at maps, where can we build lines to catch fire coming uphill. So we started putting in contingency lines right on the property line of the Forest Service and our property. The next morning the fire came up and hit my dozer line and stopped. So it worked effectively where the fire had made runs up the hill and did not spot across. It just came up and burnt right up against the dozer line and held it. When the crews got on in the morning, then we could start flowing water on the black that was up to it.
Really got lucky having a lot of industry partners and landowners around in the area right off the bat. Challenging terrain like this typically means a much larger footprint, and that has a really big impact on a lot of different things. Being able to catch it in smaller footprints like this with some deliberate and aggressive approach really has a huge impact on local industry, which has a big impact on the local economy, but also preserves really nice, pristine habitat for all sorts of wildlife, and is incredibly important for clean water and things that go into making a great habitat.
Because it's Oregon law that landowners protect their lands from fire. And we have a lot of equipment that ODF can tap into to be able to be aggressive at initial attack, to put fires out as small as possible, and be very effective on protecting all resources, communities, and what have you. We're protecting everything when we put fires out immediately.
It takes specialized equipment, it takes operators who work in this kind of ground and work in this industry to be able to do this effectively and fast and do it safe, and they did a great job of that. On the industry side of things, they have specialized equipment and operations that allow them to work in this kind of steep country from a commercial standpoint. Example of that being a cable tethered operation where we're sending heavy equipment over nearly vertical cliff edges and allowing them to work, creating a fuel break while cabled or tethered to another piece of machinery up at the top of the hill. And that technology is really proving incredibly valuable.
So how much load is actually on the line, how far out he is, and then obviously he's enabled right now.
Our business is about relationships. For many years we've been building relationships with the Forest Service on initial attack capabilities. There's a new MOU with the Chief of the Forest Service through the National Alliance of Landowners. It's a nationwide thing, allowing industry folks, timber companies, to show up with resources and be engaged on Forest Service property. And with that we have IRA agreements, incident resource agreements, with ODF, which allows the Forest Service to tap into those agreements through our partners at ODF to bring us on to Forest Service fires.
That memo of understanding allows a really fast mechanism to get the right type of equipment and personnel in a much shorter period of time, and it's absolutely imperative to be able to catch things like this in such a small footprint. If it wasn't for our ability to work as landowners, as agencies, both state and federal, together, a fire like this would be significantly larger, and it would be on the landscape for a long time and have so much potential to impact communities.